Welcome to the Outer Worlds, a brand new game available on the Epic Game Store and Xbox Game Pass. It is a game that, well, if you've played Fallout New Vegas, or indeed any Fallout game, you will probably like this. It's from Obsidian Entertainment, the same people who brought you Fallout New Vegas, but also lots of other games, like, well, lots of other RPGs, let's be honest. Things like Pillars of Eternity, Tyranny, Pathfinder, and oddly, Alpha Protocol. But anyway, this is something else entirely. This is more like Fallout in space. The graphical style is sort of combining Fallout with a little bit of Dishonored, and possibly some other bits and pieces influences. The color palette is very much like No Man's Sky. It's very purple and the hue and saturation has been turned right up. So why don't we get started? Just before I get started, just going to talk about a few settings that you actually want to probably increase. Well, first of all, I've got everything set to very high. I'm using a GTX 1080. It seems to be a perfectly good performance with very high, and I'm on 1440p. In there, I've got unlimited frame rate limit. Thank you very much, devs. We definitely want that. I've turned down motion blur to 0 because PC, and yes. In gameplay, they've got a field of view slider with a number, which is very good. Lots of games don't forget to actually have the number. I turn it up to 80, which is quite appropriate for something like a 27-inch monitor. And then user interface. You've got a few options. Tooltip damage display. One thing here is something you may want to change. If you change the DPS, it'll show it as a big number. You'll still see the damage, the raw damage, but it just won't be as big in the tooltip display. And then show dialogue skill stats. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. There's not much really I want extra in here to change. And controls, well, just it'll be sensitivity. Other than that, pretty much fine to start, I think. So why don't we get started, and then I'll describe it. One quick note: if you get Xbox Game Pass, which is a subscription, it's normally £3.99 a month, and you get this with it. But I think if you sign up for your first month, it's £1, or your local equivalent in your own currency. So probably $1.50 or $2 or something. And this comes with it, and it's a brand new game, and otherwise to buy it, it would be £55 or £50, I guess, on the Epic Game Store. So, £50 or play it for a month for £1. I'll let you decide, but the idea is obviously, to be perfectly honest, Xbox Game Pass has a bunch of other stuff on it as well, and they're trying to get you to subscribe on an ongoing basis, like EA Access or something like that. And to be honest, there's a lot of good, particularly open world games on the Xbox Game Pass. So yeah, have a look. It's in beta now, I think, the Xbox Game Pass, but it's pretty much fine to actually use. But let's get started with a new game. And we're going to go with normal. Conversation subtitles are on, so you guys can see them if you want to see that. Hopefully I'll get the volume correct, but we'll see if anyone lets me know in the comments below. And everything else is fine, and press continue. And just a quick note as a matter of warning, just before we actually get into the game footage, the game does have some swearing, and it is a first-person shooter RPG, so it will have usual violence from that point of view. If that's something you're not interested in, you may want to go away from this video. There isn't that much swearing, but it does happen occasionally when characters need to express their disappointments in my actions, perhaps. Anyway, on with the game. Just a quick warning to let you know.
Why stay earthbound when prosperity awaits you in the stars? Come to Halcyon, the only colony on the edge of the frontier, owned and operated by corporations. A trip of 10 short years will feel like mere minutes, thanks to the comfort and safety of your very own hibernation chamber. You'll wake up in a perfect society designed to maximize your productivity with guaranteed full employment. With only a minor term of service, you will become the master of your own destiny when you go out of this world to the Halcyon colony.
Hundreds of thousands of colonists left to drift out here forever, just to keep from damaging the board's bottom line. Disgraceful.
And here's the character creator. Now I'm going to skip through this a little bit because well, I don't want to change. I don't want to have to go through all the appearance stuff on camera, but I will just choose a few of these, just go through them briefly. So yeah, strength and dexterity, as you might imagine, carrying capacity, and range weapon reload speed. I'm not terribly concerned about that, to be honest. If I want to go to a one-handed melee build, then I would. You'll also get some perks which let you increase your carrying capacity, so you don't necessarily need strength that much, or at least I don't think you do, but let's see. Intelligence infects critical damage. I would like that, and affects long guns. And then perception affects headshot and weak spot damage bonuses, so I think I'm going to go good at least with both of those. You see they don't have numbers like in Fallout, but yeah, I mean, how far up do they go?
Finally,
very high. Okay, so let's just go to good at least. Charm, I do want the ability to charm people in conversations, so that's going to go up. And temperament is going to be health regen. I'm going to bring that up by 1. So we've got 2 remaining points. Where are we actually going to go with that? I think probably I'm going to just put my crit damage and my bonus to extra headshot, weak spot damage. I'll get the word correct. And we'll see how we actually go with that. Next, onto skills. How this works is, by default, you choose a category. You increase the category like this.
I hear Monarch's in need of more game hunters.
Thank you very much, Phineas. And yes, you, at the start, can increase the category. It increases all the things inside of it until you hit level 50 in here, at which point you then be able to increase the handgun specifically. So it's sort of like a branching tree, if you like, I want to think of it that way. So I'm going to go for ranged, and I'm going to go for dialogue.
Talent for exploiting insecurities.
Yes, yes, okay, fine. Okay, and yeah, there's a few options in there. So handgun crit chance, long gun crit chance, etc. And this unlocks TTD location hit effects. TTD, if I said the word VATS to you, I wonder if you know what that is. TTD is sort of like the equivalent of this. It's something time dilation. I can remember the first word of it. It tells you in game in a second, but it doesn't. It's not like the old Fallout VATS where it just stops time dead and then you choose various body parts, at least not by default. When you first start, it's just more like bullet time from the Matrix. It slows everything down. You can, you know, including your reloading. So if you're reloading while you start it, you're going to be waiting a while and probably waste most of it. So yeah, you got to be a bit careful about using it, but it is very, very nice to actually have. And we're just going to move on to aptitude. So this is different sort of effects that you can have. So just have a look: determination, drink effect, duration. I think I may go for persuade. But there is a few other options like elevator operations specialist, which is better engineering. Yeah, engineering is very useful as well. Just have a look down here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go for persuade.
Good. I might require you to push a few buttons.
And appearance, I'm just going to modify a little bit, and I'll bring you back in a second. And with that done, that's pretty much the last time I'll have to actually see the guy. So let's just move on to name. And obviously, I'm just going to choose, let's just go for grey, shall we? And next. So here's our summary. You can see everything on the screen, and I'm going to press next and get into game.
Looks to be your lucky day, my friend. Not likely, bootlickers. Initiate skip jump.
Status. Structural integrity down 25%. Power levels down 90%. Skip drive
Shit.
inoperable.
Ah, there you are. Wondering what's going on, eh? A bit of bad news there, I'm afraid. Your colony ship was inexplicably knocked out of skip space and forced to complete its journey at sublight speeds. This means that you and every other colonist on the Hope have been in suspended animation for 70 years, give or take. Normally, reviving someone after so long leads to some quite horrifying results. It's called explosive cell death, but it's really more of a liquefaction. Something wrong? Oh, yes, well, not to worry. I've pumped your body full of a special concoction I devised to keep you from dying so horrifically. Hopefully at all, but I guess we'll see, yes? Unfortunately, I used the last of my chemical supplies saving you. I know it's a lot to ask, but I must have your help securing more if we're to save the rest of your fellow colonists. I'd see it done myself, of course, but the board has a sizable bounty on my head. Now, my ship is inoperative, but I've managed to hire a smuggler to help you out. He'll be... Oh, I see we're in position. Good luck!
Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Ah, there you are. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, the smuggler. His name is Hawthorne, and he should be waiting for you at the landing site. He's to be your chauffeur, so to speak. Not to worry. I'm told he's a specialist. Dashing gunslinger, one-of-a-kind ship, that sort of thing. You'll like him, I'm sure. I've also outfitted you with a simple wireless monitor, so I can track your progress. I'll check in with you as soon as you land. Good luck. All the colonists are counting on you. Hawthorne should be close by. What in law's name? Is that him? Oh, that idiot. I told him to plant the beacon and move away, not stand there holding it. Oh well, no sense in letting his ship go to waste.
So, you're dumped onto a
Hawthorne won't mind
planet.
you taking his ship. Better you than the board, huh?
Yes. And
I'm
Hawthorne
sure I trusted the
is,
fellow. Might have gone after the bounty on my head.
well, not
Shame
around
about
anymore.
The whole squashing thing. Nasty way to go.
Fine, so now we've been given the usual tutorial sort of steps. So you've got a pod, there's nothing really much here to loot, and you can see the world around us. So very, very beautiful. Obviously, the graphics have moved on a great deal since Fallout New Vegas for Obsidian, but it is very much, and hopefully you understand why I sort of see a sort of No Man's Sky in this, and you'll see why it is on it, I mention in a little while. For a Fallout game, this also has a different sort of concept. It also has companions which run with you. As you might imagine from earlier Fallout games, I think you had yeah, you do have companions in Fallout, but not sort of the early and active way that this one does. You could got to get through a few stuff before you get your first one, but then you can sort of invest in their damage and their sort of XP from their kills and all kinds of other stuff, or indeed just go solo. It's sort of your choice entirely. As far as how to do that. So yeah, let's just get through the tutorial bits and we'll see. We're going to encounter in a little while some enemies that we need to sort of get rid of. They're in the way of where we want to go to. But let's just sprint down here and hopefully get some loot. Have you got some loot for me? Adreno. Adreno is basically the healing of the game. You do that, and you press F, and it just gives you a sort of regen heal, and that's pretty easy enough to use. And then, it's just going to explain sneaking. So control like normal, use tall grass, etc. And you can sneak past aggro monsters like a timid canid. Or rather, it's not really all that timid, but basically dogs that go after you. So I'm going to keep going through this cave, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, into the cave.
Easy now. You've been frozen for a while. There's bound to be unforeseen side effects.
You really can't take that much fall damage. You really, really can't. I'm not sure if that's going to change later in the game, but by starting, don't try and jump off things. One thing I will say is that, well, that purple effect you saw was the time dilation effect that you can control in a little while. And then we're just going to get to talking with Guard Pelham here in a second, where we're going to get our first gun. Now, just like a Fallout game, the gunplay in Outer Worlds is not amazing. Amazing, I would class as something like Doom. Second up would be something that's very polished and smooth and sort of feels meaty like Destiny. This is more like a typical Fallout game. The gunplay is good, but it's nothing special. It's not really the point of the game, but it is. It's decent. You'll see why in a second.
Try the best now. Now try the rest. Spacer's choice. Oh, wow, that stings.
Okay, so because I have some medical skill, I can use that and patch him up.
Looks like the bleeding stopped. I owe you one. Hope you don't mind me omitting this little exchange for my report. Spacer's Choice doesn't like us accepting outside help.
Yeah, what happened to you?
We were out on patrol. I saw a marauder camp up in the hills. Thought I could take him.
You can't.
Then my gun misfired. Right through my side. I mean, what are the odds of that, right?
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Just barely scraped by with my life. Crawled in here and blocked off the exit with those canisters.
Okay, so you're hiding with a cave, you blocked off the exit, you're as good as dead. I'm not going to choose that. What's this about marauders?
Gibbering, flesh-eating, law-breaking, unemployed lunatics with guns. Some hullhead grounded their spacecraft out in the open. That's a real good way to attract marauders. See those canisters by the entrance? Marauders come sniffing around in here, and I can take them all out with a single shot. Not bad, huh?
Now, I would like to intimidate him, saying you're an idiot, you shot yourself in the foot or side or whatever, but I'm going to use Persuade. I've got a better idea. Give me your gun and I'll go get help.
Yeah, okay. You look like you know your way around a gun. Got some spare ammo, not counting the bullet in my side. Here, you can have my saber too, for patching me up and all. All Spacer's Choice weapons are now 30% less likely to malfunction. You've tried the best, now try the... Yes, nailed it that time.
Fine, I'm off. Okay, so now we have a gun, in typical Fallout sort of fashion, and we need to get out by shooting these barrels, basically. You can also take a look at the inventory system, though, at this point, I think. So if you press Tab, you can get into the inventory system. As it's telling you here, you can have up to 4 weapons equipped at a time, and take a look at the weapons, so that's fine. And I'm just going to also click on armor, because we got some armor as well. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's just go back to weapons, just so I can get rid of the stuff on the screen. And we're going to have 2 different weapons. We're going to drag them up here, press them, select them by pressing the number keys. And you can see here is where I said the DPS is. So at the top right, you can see DPS, but you can also see damage a couple of steps below that. So yeah, damage will be the single shots, how much you hit with one shot. DPS obviously over time. You don't necessarily want the largest DPS. It depends on what you're actually doing. Particularly if you want like single shot, like Alpha Strike kind of damage, then you want to go for damage. Anyway, in there we can also modify things, and I'm not sure if we get we need to get to a workbench to modify things. It's not like Fallout 4 in that you can just assemble custom weapons, at least not that I've seen so far. I've only played for the first few hours of the game, but you can modify weapons with different sort of qualities. For example, 50% increased magazine size, stuff like that. You can do the same thing with armor. You can increase carrying capacity with a modification to armor and lots of other stuff. You get to this terrible armor to get started, but we'll change that over time. And then you get consumables and a lot of other stuff. So there is the Adreno, and it heals 25% over 2 seconds. and lots of other different parts of this this inventory. We don't have anything in yet, but like a Fallout game, you will start to acquire all kinds of stuff very quickly. Let's put it that way. You will start to fill up your inventory with all kinds of junk. We'll get back to that in a little while. First of all, make sure we just loot everything. Mag picks, they are your equivalent of a lockpick, and depending on your skills there, some chests and stuff don't take any lockpicks to use up. It's not like a Skyrim like lockpick system. It is pretty much just use it, and you need a certain skill level. If you have the skill level and you have the consumable, you'll use the consumable up and open the lock. Or if it says 0, you won't use the consumable up. So it's very definitive. It's not too bad, not too hard to actually do. Anyway, shooting this.
Damn it, my ears! Oh, what just happened? Can you hear me? What in the hell? This...
Tactical time dilation. That's what I couldn't remember. Tactical. So yeah, due to complications stemming from being revived after an extended hibernation, we were stuck in a ship for 70 years, frozen solid. Pressing the tactical dilation button slows down the world, giving you time to think as well as take action. You have limited time in this mode. Standing still drains your TTD meter very slowly, while moving in attacks drain it faster, and it refreshes over time. Okay, so we're going to be able to use that for a bit of an advantage in a second. You'll see there are some enemies. Oh, hi. But there is also some explosive canisters, and there's another enemy right there. So, I guess, well... Okay, so that's those taken care of, and we were able to loot everything that they have. Oh, hacking and picking locks, here we go. Yeah, if your skill's high enough to break your security, you'll see how many mag picks or shunts you need and how long it will take. Yeah, so here you'll see we need 4 to be able to unlock this at the very bottom, but we only have 2. If that latter number says 0, then you can just unlock it for free, essentially. But now we have 4, and it'll take 4 seconds, and we'll unlock it. We get a telescoping staff. It's a melee weapon, not too concerned as it's not as good as the melee weapons that we have. Press I. See, that's 54 DPS, 51 damage. This is 73 DPS and 36 damage. I suppose it's, if you're going to swing once, then you could do that. But I'm just going to put it on number 3 for now. Yeah, it's a big stick with a ball on the end. Yeah. Ah! Just don't stand in fire. And around here, we're just going to pick everything else up and loot and head a little bit further down. So more lockpicks. Good, good, good. And sprats, which are just like little sort of animals. We get more light pistols. Now, you can break them down as well in your inventory system. Once we get to a workbench, anything in here pretty much that you don't want, like this, it's not any different to your original pistol. You do notice, look at the condition at the bottom right, they do deteriorate over time, so you can just keep another one like this as long as it's not modded and swap it out. But once you mod things, you're going to want to keep the same weapon anyway, so you want to probably repair it instead. So we're going to head a little bit further down and then meet probably our next group of enemies. Oh yeah, there's another one. And 2 of them. Okay. Is our TTD gauge done? I think it is. We can just sneak up on them, of course, and just so they show you the melee version. Unfortunately, I'm spec for range weapons, but yep. 1, 2, and 3. Sneaky. Having gotten rid of a few of those guys, we drop a little bit further down and you see a ship. The ship is a Hawthorne ship. Yes, so it's almost like we have an available ship that needs a pilot or a captain or something. So why don't we just go and head down here? We'll have a conversation with these guys.
Over here before you get yourself killed.
Not having a problem with that so far anyway. But by the way, we also got some armor. It's one more armor. However, it increases stealth skills instead of tech skills. I'm not that concerned about doing that yet, but anyway, let's have a word with Lieutenant Mercer.
Don't know where you came from, stranger, but you best keep your head down. There's marauders hereabouts, and worse, landing violators. Gall on that rung leech. Landing in the Vale without using an official Spacer's Choice landing pad. I'd slap him with a fine if it weren't for all these marauders shambling about.
Ah, it's just a landing violation. Let it go.
You out of your mind? No way. Once we've dealt with these marauders, I'm hunting that sick freak down. I just, you know, need a couple of winks to catch my breath. Stretch my legs some.
I have the ability to persuade here. Do Spacer's Choice guards back down from a challenge?
Well, sometimes. Management's real good at cost-benefit analysis. But, seeing as I'm the acting manager in this situation, you know what? You're right. It's time we cross those marauders off, find whoever owns that ship, and file a full report. Then it's gonna be fucking laminated.
Here we go.
So off they go. They're not terribly successful. Has to be said. But they do damage the other guys for us, so, you know, there is an advantage. Oh no, they're all down. Yeah. Anyway, so now it's my turn, and I get to be a little bit more stealthy. You don't have much health. Okay. And the rest will come in and come and try to find me, no doubt. You have no health as well. Cool. Okay, that's 2 down. And there's a third one over there somewhere. Fine. Let's go and loot and head for the ship. One note, however, on looting stuff, you'll see we get lots of identical stuff in here. You'll see this one that has this little diamond symbol or little sort of gem symbol. That makes it slightly better than the others. So if we just have a look here, what is it that makes what's actually better in here? Is it actually better at all for this one? Usually it is once they get that symbol. And I don't think it is in this one because it's probably just such an early game thing. But do watch out for that symbol. You do want to use that one rather than others. So yeah, keep an eye out for it. Otherwise, we also got an assault rifle. So, yep. It's a little bit better than the pistol by far. Well, it's a lot better, let's face it. And, yeah, we just need to head into the ship now. Getting lots of light pistols. And, Kiddies. So, hello, guy. Yeah, we can just sneak up and, staff with a knob on the end. Thought we'd give this one a try as well. Oh, this should take 2 instead. There we go. And loot. There we go. Cool. Alright. Are you still alive? Ah, never mind. Let's head into the ship. Okay, so this is the...
informed that this vessel contains no valuable plunder.
Okay, this is the reliable or the unreliable. And we're going to go and meet the AI for this ship. Let's go and take a look in here.
Unauthorized access of spacefaring vessels is a crime. Please submit yourself to the authorities. Hello, Marauder. I am Ada, the autonomous digital astrogator of this vessel. Please be informed that I am authorized to use violent retribution against unwanted solicitors. Please return any misappropriated equipment and exit this vessel in an orderly fashion. Failure to do so will result in your immediate destruction.
I'm not here to misappropriate anything.
I detect an elevated heart rate, indicating dishonesty. Please prepare yourself for lethal deterrence. Jetstream procedures initiated. Disengaging airlocks. Preparing to eject all boarding parties in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You realize we're on the ground, right?
You are still here. My deception protocols have failed. I have been programmed to express disappointment.
Yeah, I need to get this ship in the air.
I am incapable of accepting orders from anyone other than Captain Alex Hawthorne.
And he's dead.
I understand. I will require some time to process this information. Thank you for your patience and for your honesty. I am programmed to take orders exclusively from Captain Hawthorne. If I accept your orders, then you must be Captain Hawthorne. Do you understand?
Yes, I'm Captain Hawthorne. Yeah, yes.
Well done, Captain Hawthorne. I see your powers of deductive reasoning remain intact. Unfortunately, our engine is currently inoperable. Our main drive suffered a critical power failure, and we were forced to make an emergency landing. The main drive's power regulator has been irreparably damaged and must be replaced.
I doubt I'll find a part like that just sitting in a garage.
Astutely observed. However, the probability of locating a power regulator within a worker settlement falls within acceptable parameters of certainty. High-capacity power regulators are sometimes employed in the electrical networks of worker settlements. I have taken the liberty of printing you a new Captain's Identity cartridge. Please try not to lose it this time. This cartridge identifies you, Alex Hawthorne, as the registered proprietor and captain of the Unreliable. Do you understand?
Yes, I got it, I got it.
Best of luck in your search for a power regulator. Try to stay alive this time.
Okay, so now we're leveled up and we get to choose some new stuff. And let's just do that. Let's head in there. Skill improvements. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to continue to improve my range skills. You see, we get 10 points to actually spend in here. So we get quite a lot of different options. But I'm also going to go for some, well, probably a mix of stealth and dialogue, but mainly a few more in this. Let's get a couple more dialogue and a couple more stealth, I think. Maybe one more defense. And yeah, let's go from that. Let's apply. I wish I could click on these as well as just pressing E. Yes, I'm able to undo it. Time dilation, combat dialogue. So yeah, each of these come with other abilities on the right hand side. And in perks, we now got a few options. So you can go for increased health, various other things. Tactical time dilation meter max. That's probably one I'm going to go for fairly soon. Pack mule, I can carry more. I'm going to go for that first because it's a Fallout light game and you end up just carrying everything. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that means we've got everything done. We've got to go explore this ship, but before we head to the nearby settlement, what I will say about at Worlds is that it presents choices which are not clear-cut and have lasting impacts.
If your equipment is in need of repair or modification, the Crux 2000 workbench is at your disposal, Captain.
Yes, so you will get to a choice fairly early where there is no clear-cut choice. Both choices are sort of bad in their own way. And it's meant to make you feel uncomfortable as well about making these choices. So I will say, yes, Ada.
To you now, Captain.
Yes,
Help
it
yourself.
does.
No, really.
Yes. So let's get onto a workbench before we get onto the quests for the settlement. And here we can break stuff down. So I'm going to go to breakdown tab. I'm going to get rid of anything that I don't want. There is a shotgun, so we'll keep that. Otherwise, I'm just going to break down all the pistols and sabers. Maybe I'll keep one saber, etc. And we can repair existing stuff. So we've hit someone over the head with that, so it may need a bit of repair. And the sawn-off shotgun has 5% condition. So basically, it's meant to be the tutorial. We can repair the item and then have it available for use. So if we just go back across in here, sawn-off shotgun we can put into our equipment and be able to go from that. And if we go into armor, I still don't have a helm piece yet. That's what the other slot's for, but I'm sure we'll get to that pretty soon. I'm just going to go around the ship, pick up everything I can, and then I'll come back and see if there's anything worthwhile doing. Yeah, pretty much all the doors on the ship are sealed until we get the power regulator from, well, wherever we're going to get it from. There's two choices, and that's what I was talking about. Where you get it from is a bad choice both ways, so yeah.
I'll be with you, friend. I'm Ernie, from the Spacer's Choice Department of Human Resources. Town sent me hereabouts to check on the guards. Now, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but seems to me they're all dead. Mind telling me what happened here?
Well, the guards and the locals had a bit of an altercation, yeah.
Altercation, you say? Yeah, shame as that goes. Spacer's Choice policy strictly prohibits dying during work hours. Guess I'd better get to cleaning up. Can't just leave company property scattered about, bleeding out on the dirt.
I guess I could use the gear.
No can do, friend. That armor's Spacer's Choice property. Bodies, too. Living or otherwise. Company policy, you see. You don't want to amble on over to Edgewater at your earliest convenience. Constable's office might have work for someone with your, let's just say, aggressive disposition? Oh, and be sure to stop by the Edgewater Provisioner for a can of salt tuna. It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's choice.
And I'll be on my way. Now, the one thing about Outer Worlds is that you can kill anyone you like, including Ernie here. It's not necessarily a good idea to, but you could kill everyone. And they had apparently a lot of work to do to make sure that you could still continue with the quests when you do that. But for our case, I'm not going to go and do that. I just want to do that with bandits only and keep the sort of amount of dialogue options available to us. So why don't we take a look at this shotgun while we're at it? And are you a bandit? You are indeed a bandit. So we'll just go and approach. Yeah, so I was talking about the choices that you get in game. Neither choice is good, at least to start, and that sort of introduces you to your first companion. But this guy is he's not all that observant. And whoop! Hi. Don't really like the shotgun. It's a bit slow. Oh. Yeah, it's a bit slow. And I prefer the assault rifle if possible. But hey, take your choice. And a little bit further on, we're to Edgewater. This is the sort of town. And if you haven't caught on yet, it is a hellscape dystopia. I.e. everyone is working for the cannery. It is just basically making tuna. And that is sort of leads into the actual choice. But let's get started by speaking to Silas here.
Don't go ambling out in those hills. That's marauder territory, friend.
I'm just passing through.
Ain't safe out here. You'd best head into town. Avail yourself of Edgewater's high walls and low prices.
Nice to meet you. I'm Alex Hawthorne, captain of the Unreliable.
Pleased to make your acquaintanceship. I'd shake your hand, but I've been hauling corpses. You don't want none of that on you. Name's Silas, junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family.
Yeah, who do I talk to about Power Regulator?
Definitely not the junior in humor. If you've got business inquiries, you should stop by Reed Thompson's office. Look, you obviously ain't a worker. What's your racket? You a smuggler? Freelancer?
Yeah. He's going to basically want us to collect fees for him. I'm not interested in doing that. He's basically going to... yeah, we're not really interested in being a fee collector. Yeah, so I'm not going to actually... yeah, I'm not going to really sort of comply with that. We're just going to head into Edgewater and then head to Reed's office, and that will get us the ability to talk about the power regulator. You can, of course, as is usual for Fallout games, steal everything that is nailed down. But of course, if you do that, you don't want to make sure you're not actually seen by anyone by doing it. Otherwise, well, that can lead to bad things. Yeah, so we can steal that and this and lots of other stuff too. Pet pills. Yeah. So I am going to take the time-honored approach of taking everything that isn't nailed down. I'm not sure about shovels, but hey, why not? We'll just take one and a spade, and I'll keep on doing that through the town, I think, until we get to Reed. And here is Reed's office in the Saltuna Cannery. We're also going to need the cannery for some other places, other discoverables as well. But for the meantime, we're just going to start with the main quest in here. And you may see why I was talking about Dishonored. It's very much this Art Deco kind of style that goes on, and sort of just the way that things are shaded. You'll see it sort of seems a little bit like that. It's not fully cel shaded, but it is sort of heading towards that kind of distinctive look. In any case, we've got Reed and we've got Parvati. Hi.
Seems we've got a guest.
Yes.
Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself.
Are you Reed? I was told I should talk to you.
I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform.
Yeah, I'm not your worker.
Yes, so it dawns on me. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
I need repairs. Power regulator.
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process.
Sure, let's hear it.
There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way.
And when you say mostly abandoned...
I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there.
I don't think they're going to like losing their power either.
No, I do not imagine they will be pleased. But like a parent disciplining an unruly child, you will be doing them a kindness. The people living in the botanical labs, they're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home.
Why?
Edgewater is struggling. We haven't hit our production quota in years. If we don't meet our quotas this year, the company might shut us down for good. I need those workers back at their stations.
Okay, how can I help?
My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town.
Okay, I can't make any promises.
Of course, I understand completely. Here, let me give you the passcode to the geothermal plant. A sign of good faith, for so politely listening to me as I ramble on.
Are you setting off for the Vale? Because I know my way around. I mean, in case you want a guide. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented, and may prove useful to you.
Sure.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
So now we have our first companion. Combat support, they enhance our skills, they increase our carrying capacity, and they have special combat abilities. And yep, there she is. Parvati is pretty useful to have. Don't worry about her dying too much. She'll just pass out and then she'll come back again if that happens. So yeah, don't worry about it too much. Otherwise, I think that's going to be pretty much it for this episode. We've got obviously a difficult choice. We either take power away from this colony and take their power regulator, or we take power away from the botanical lab and take their power regulator. Either way, it's not an easy choice. So yeah, we have a few options. Now, I will say that there is other stuff to actually pick up in here before we really go anywhere. But that is probably going to be next episode now. I just wanted to get to the main quest and we'll see how it goes. So let's head down, and wow, you can step forwards quickly. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's just an introduction to the Outer Worlds. And let me know if you like it. Click on the like button below as normal. Press on the comments and give other people tips and tricks. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, no, we can wait until the next episode, not just yet. Yes, so if you've got tips and tricks for other players, put them in the comments down below, and of course you can click on the bell for notifications for more episodes like this. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for some more Outer Worlds.